welcome the HSG Executive Study trip to Singapore. I have the pleasure to be here with Markus Schödel from the University of St. Gallen, managing the trip, and with Richa Menke from 8Inc. So we had an outstanding presentation about what 8Inc is doing, and this was really quite intriguing. So, Richa, so what's your secret of value creation?
I think it's a really important, very topical question. If you think about what business is about at the end of the day is value creation, and I think our approach is always starting with creating better human outcomes that lead to better business outcomes, because ultimately the judge of a company's value is the customer. So starting with that has helped us help clients be more successful.
Yeah. Well, fascinating. So Markus, so what was your take?
My take is always, when I'm looking, as we've been to the 8Inc office in San Francisco, and you come to Singapore, so what makes it so important to be in the Asian market for 8Inc and not doing it from San Francisco? So what is it?
That's a really good question. I mean, on the one hand, the world feels smaller and smaller, because everything is connected globally. But at the same time, I think each of the markets in Asia are very diverse. Yeah. And I think what we have is all of these very diverse markets, and the consumer base kind of appetite for new things is very different. India and China are so open to change versus, Singapore is maybe, not as open to new things. So, we have to adapt our solutions and understand those behavioral differences in the solutions we create, which, leads to new ideas. So I think the richness and diversity of this market is a great catalyst for us.
Last year we've been to Silicon Valley, then we have been to Tel Aviv in March. So what's the reason for being here in Singapore by today?
Okay, maybe there are three major reasons why we do that study trips to Singapore. The first one is we're again in an Asian century. Growth is not in Europe, growth is not in the United States. When markets are growing, then it's Asia. And besides the perspective that every European has on China, Asia is more. And Asia South Pacific, that means it's Indonesia, it's Malaysia, it's Philippines, it's Tokyo, it's the whole world from a different perspective. And understanding the culture of Asian societies might be one of the key success factors in the next years. And this is one reason why we're going to Singapore. The second reason to go to Singapore is that for many companies it's the starting point for the Asian journeys. As this is a place where you can build a business within 3 days. There's no better way of doing business. Okay, many of you might have been here for tourism reasons. That's not the reason that you come to Singapore. To Singapore you come to do business, or you want to emerge into the Asian markets. And the third reason is Asians are much more affinitive to technology. So the technology adoption marketing is much forward than in Europe and much forward than in the United States. And these three reasons make a 5-day study trip to Singapore very worthwhile doing, and really get a first tap into the waters of the Asian markets.
Well, that sounds quite promising, Markus, so thank you for that. So what will be the visit you think you are most looking for?
I'm looking very much forward in the next days, and we have already been with 8Inc, which is always a certain nice experience of understanding how you can do innovation, customer experience. I'm looking very much forward tomorrow when we have the visit to Parcel Perform, which is our major case study in the next 2 months on platform business and scaling digital business. Looking forward to the LinkedIn session that we're going to have on how to do social sales in Asia. But most of all, what should be for anybody who's on that trip be an experience that is lasting. That's the way how OCBC is treating customer experience innovations on Friday, where we have a full half-day workshop with Bojan Blejic on the topic on how we treat innovations in customer experience.
Yeah, especially on customer experience, we already realized or could see on how the Heinemann Group is doing. So that was really impressive. So we see that there are a lot of European players here doing the job quite well, or extreme well. So I'm really looking forward for the next visits, and thank you for having a look, and see you and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.